Don't forget, as always, that we love you. And Dane,
Thank you for listening.
Dane, how you doing, man?
Good, good. Another great day in Doodah here. How about yourself?
I'm loving it, man. So we just got together, put me and my wife and the girls, we just got done putting together some furniture, and I've been tasked this week. I have to put together some bookshelves. And
Oh
last
no.
time I put together a bookshelf, it held up for about a day. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get this one to last for at least a month. That's my project tomorrow, what I got, man.
Yeah,
So
you got to chew more bubble gum and put it together.
I'm gonna
There
put
you
some
go.
like wood glue on there. I mean, as long as it
All
doesn't lean
right.
over too much, So that's
There
my
you
my
go.
plan for tomorrow. But speaking of that, man, tonight, before I get to the fun stuff tomorrow, we got a great evening planned. Softball has always been near and dear to our hearts. We kicked
Yes.
off season 4. We kind of talked about a theme of just getting started and really going back to people that are like showcasing what they believe, kind of just that personality, that
Yep.
boldness. And the girl we'll be bringing on tonight in a minute, Karlee Ford, she does that. Local hometown hero, by the way. Eisenhower says, "What's up?" Love that. Doing a great thing in Iowa State, doing a great job being the role model, speaking about her faith, and really just showing
Yep.
a godly example of how, like, female leadership. Before I get to her interview, though, Dane, I was looking up
Hmm.
some stuff about Iowa. I've kind of got some facts for you, some random
All right.
stuff. Maybe you didn't know
Awesome.
this about Iowa. So you ready for some rando stuff about Iowa?
Yeah, let's have it here.
So Iowa. So just so you know, it's the birthplace of the first personal computer. In the 1930s, is the first personal computer was made in Iowa. So
Oh, nice. There you go. Thank you, Iowa.
yeah,
It wouldn't be possible for us to do what we do without that.
yeah. Can you imagine like the big old ones? It's also the birthplace of the largest cereal manufacturer in the world, largest, or excuse me, in the U.S., largest cereal manufacturer in the U.S.,
All
Iowa.
right.
Pretty
All
cool.
right.
I love my corn puffs and my Wheaties. It's home to no natural lakes. I think that's pretty cool. No natural lakes. And the most important fact, it's got one of the greatest superstars in softball, Karlee
Yeah.
Ford. So you like how I transitioned that?
There you
Let's get
go.
right down to it and bring on the lady of the hour. Karlee, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Excellent.
Awesome.
Thank you for your time.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I didn't even know any of those facts. So thank you for actually letting me know that because I was blank on those also. So
Can't,
There you go.
I'm the king of useless information, Carl. I
yeah,
got you. I
here
can
we
tell
go. I
you
love it.
rando stuff, random expiration dates on cereal and stuff like that. I got you. So, Carly, first of all, thank you, hometown hero. I know you spent some time at Eisenhower, right in our neck of the woods. Everyone has been itching to get you on the show, and I'm just glad the
Absolutely.
timing worked out. You're a role model. You're an athlete. You're an inspiration. We love what you're doing to showcase God and your talents. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So with that being
Yes.
said, let me jump into some questions. I'm just ready to roll.
Okay,
Okay. So,
perfect.
so Karlee, being the superstar we are now, Iowa State, very well known. People love what you do, the clinics, the camps, just the influence you're spreading. Take me back to when this began, when you began playing softball. Where did the love for this come from? When did softball for Karlee Ford begin? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my gosh. So I played sports all through literally growing up. Like my mom was the type where she was like, "Let's put you in everything possible and see what you like to do." I was very athletic growing up, so I mean, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I was pretty good at like all the sports that I played. But softball was just like something that it was just the game was just different, like different than soccer and basketball and things like that. And being a catcher too, I was always a catcher growing up. I was the one where my mom was my coach and she was like, okay, who wants to be a pitcher? And everybody raises their hands. And then it was like, who wants to be a catcher? Nobody. So she makes me do it. And so now I just like stuck with it because I love it so much. But it's just the fun of the game. Like there's so much competitiveness in all
Mhm.
of it. And I love that there's different aspects. Like
Mm,
from catching all the way to, like, base running, I love base
Yep.
running, and I love even playing outfield sometimes too, and so doing all of that, there's so many different skill sets to, like, work on, and so there's always things you're doing, and I just think it's so much fun, and I've always loved playing, and obviously, I've loved playing it because 'cause I'm here now, but it's been the best, so
Dane and I always say, right, Dane, that being a catcher is the hardest job on the field, right, Dane? Don't you agree?
Yeah, yeah, you have to have a lot of grit. Plus, like you said, with stealing bases, you still hold some records whenever you were in those high school days of stolen
yes.
bases, home runs, triples, things like that, pickoffs even. So,
Yeah.
congrats. I mean, you bring a lot to the table whenever you come to Iowa State now, and they're lucky to have you.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
so when you played all those sports and then you finally decided on softball, what was it maybe is there one or two specific things about the game and catcher even that said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the other sports behind and I'm going to follow this path. What was maybe one or two things that led you down that path?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely was just like the drive I had for softball, and my mom can even attest to this too, like my parents can. The drive I had for softball was a lot farther than the other sports that I was playing at the time.
Mhm.
So I played soccer up until like my 8th grade year, and then I played basketball in high school a little bit too. And I even did cheerleading in high school
Mm.
too. So I kind of like did a bunch of stuff. But I think growing up and playing all those sports, um, I always had a season with basketball or soccer where I was like, "I don't know if I wanna play anymore," like,
Mhm.
even in, like, middle school, and I never had that with softball, like, obviously, you go through ups and downs in everything that you do,
Yep.
but with that, I always was looking for the next thing to work on and the next thing to get better, and my dream was to play at a Division I school in, like, in the Big 12 or the SEC, and now that I'm here, it's just such a blessing, like, every day I get to go out and literally live what I have dreamed to play my entire life, and, I
Wow.
think it was just having those, role models also on the TV and
Yep.
being able to watch these college softball players was just such a goal of mine, like, my entire life,
Yep.
so
Wow.
I'm just
Yep.
processing, Dan, because we talk about
Yeah.
this all the time. And Karlee, you know this because fall ball, growing up, travel ball. I'm sure you know the age of it and all that. Softball is a year-long commitment, right, Dan? It's year
Yeah,
round, right?
absolutely.
So you're kind of, it's funny because you're not, there is no off season in softball. You get that little
yeah.
tiny break after Thanksgiving, right, for a couple
No.
weeks before we get into, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
literally, yes, yes.
wow. So just kind of the drive of it, the influence. You mentioned that too, as I kind of transition to that. It's very clear when you look at people watch you, like our girls know of you, like, oh, it's Karlee. Like they see you, like they try to imitate some of your stuff. And it's cool because now everything's televised, so they can see you. You know, it's cool, right? You're on TV
Yeah.
for doing up. So when you think about the influence that you're spreading on kids, the next generation, helping to grow the game, me and Dane were talking about this just the other day. The game of softball, as it should, has grown exponentially in the past 20, 25 years, right?
Mhm.
It
Yes.
started in 96 at the Olympics. Now it's like people tune in for
Yeah.
Women's College World Series more than they do a lot of male dominated sports. I'm so glad it's
Yep.
our candy stick. So the
Yeah.
influence, right? Like you have this influence, but who influences Karlee Ford? Like who's your beacon, if you will? You know?
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
no, that's a great question. So as you were talking about a little bit about faith and everything, the reason I am even here in the first place, the reason I'm even at Iowa State is 100% God's doing. My entire recruiting process was pretty crazy. Like I was committed to a JUCO for about a year, and then I ended up getting seen by Iowa State and decommitted, and then came here, and all of that was like good terms and everything. But it was really just like there were so many times that I was praying, and it was crazy because on my way to the Iowa State camp, I just got done going to another camp at another school, and, they weren't really interested, which it happens, right? They
Mm.
weren't really interested, and I remember talking to my mom, and I was like, "I don't know what to do anymore. I'm, like, losing my mind. Like, is this not God's plan for me? Like, maybe I'm chasing something that it's not where I'm supposed to be. Like, I don't know." And in the car, like, in our, I think it was, like, what, our 6-hour drive here, I was, like, praying. I literally was like, "God, if this is your will, it will be done. If it is not, then it won't. And I'll go to McLennan, and then I'll go and grind it out there, and then I'll go somewhere else. Like, we'll figure it
Mm.
out here, and we'll get to wherever I'm supposed to be." And on my camp, it was like everything started happening, and
Yeah,
I was like, "This is literally crazy. Like, what is going on?" And
that's
faith
awesome.
has been such a big thing for me
Mm.
growing up. Like, I mean, my youth group, I go to Pathway Church, in
I love
Goddard.
that.
My Ignite, all my oh my gosh, like, that really set the basis for, honestly, my life, and it really saved my life, like, everything I've gone through, if I put my identity in softball, I wouldn't still be here playing right now because there's so much failure in softball, there's so
Mm.
much hardships, and how are you gonna continue playing something when you're just failing and things aren't going your way? So I think it's cool to always have I have that hope in Jesus, I have that hope in God, and just know that
Mm.
everything he's taking me through has a purpose, and guess what? It's gonna be okay on the other end.
I love that.
Wow.
And see, Dan,
Absolutely.
this is why we love you. And you
Yeah.
say this thing, Karlee, and it's kind of a parallel as Dan takes four. There's a verse that says his mercy is new every morning, right? And so it's like
Mhm.
softball. You learn a new lesson every day. So it's
Yeah.
like God and sports, like you're kind of showcasing you can do
Yeah.
both. And Dane,
Yeah.
talk about this if you don't mind for a second. I know we're going off the script, but
Yep.
Karlee, you're demonstrating that there was a time when it was like like athletes were supposed to be like bad people and like hard edge and like rebellious, and now it's like you're rebelling by showcasing your faith in like this different way,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of cool, right? So there's
Yeah.
a different spin. Am I Dane, help me out here, because I like the way she's kind of taken the turn in a different direction with like the new type of influence is showcasing your faith, you know? So
Well, I think it's more there's more exposure now,
yeah.
and nothing's off limits anymore. So your faith, whenever you put it out there, you draw others to you because they see that path. And, there was a stigma on bringing, faith to sports.
Mhm.
And it was kind of looked at as an outlier. I remember the days of Tim Tebow kneeling in the end zone, and he was kind of looked at a certain way. But now you have those young kids that see that and they say, I feel that same way. And now athletes are saying, okay, that's how I feel. So let me show you the pathway that I'm following. And
Love
you're
it.
doing a great thing whenever you follow your faith, because there's thousands of others that were kind of maybe shy or scared to do that. But now with your influence, athletes like you, Karlee, showing that they're not so afraid to do it anymore. And it's
Love it.
become the mainstream. So thank you for doing that for
Yeah.
Yeah.
my daughter
Yeah.
as well.
Yes, of
So,
course.
but I mean, now that, like you said, God put you on a path to go to be a Cyclone, what are maybe going into this off season and ultimately into next season? What are maybe one or two goals that you have? Maybe something you want to accomplish there at Iowa State in this year in the
Mm.
softball.
Yeah. Definitely one of my goals or team goals is to go to a regional this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's been, I mean, one of my dreams has always been to play at the Women's College World Series. And so working towards that is definitely exciting. And like in the off season, right? We've been practicing this entire fall, just as I assume your daughters are too, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It's a all year sport. Like we're never stopping. Like we're always playing. But practicing and stuff, just like focusing on the little things and perfecting the little things. We've been working a lot. I mean, we even had one of the New York Yankees catching coaches come out here and work with some of us catchers,
Wow.
which was really cool. And so we've been just working a lot on like especially like perfecting the little things.
I like
And
that.
yeah, and it's been cool to kind of like break things down. And instead of like, okay, just get a bunch of reps, it's like, no, we're slowing things down and we're working like on these little types of things, like different types of framing and like, just other ways to just make the game a level up, and
Mm-hmm.
just continue to work in our conference and everything. But yeah, definitely like this season, like just being a good teammate is really one of my other goals too, because um there's 25 of us here, right? Like not there's 9 places on the there's 9 positions on the field. Like not everybody is going to play. But we are all human beings and we are all here to have fun and to give
Yep.
glory to God. So I'm just like continuing to look to obviously get playing time. Like right?
Yeah.
We want to
Yeah.
play, okay? But
Yeah.
I'm not going to go and like uh treat people bad or like
Right.
be all whatever if I don't, because when the time is right, the time is right, and so
Yep.
like just putting in that work and preparation on the backside and then trusting that whatever happens happens and it's going to be good is really just my main goal for the season. So
Mm.
honestly, sum that all up, just giving it all to God. Whatever happens, it
I
Yeah.
love
happens,
that.
and I'm
Awesome.
putting in the work on my end and just figuring it out that way. So
You know, it's crazy,
Uh,
Karlee, because Dane's coached longer than me. I more do media stuff now, but Dane would always say this. And Dane, you keep like reminding me of things you said when you're talking about like, kind of not hogging the spotlight when the time comes. Dane, you've always said you're looking more for how a person reacts when they're benched than when they're playing. Am I right, Dane? Isn't that?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the one that comes to mind would be WSU, Madison Espinoza. She was just a firecracker on the in the dugout, and then when she got to play, she was even bigger and more boisterous when she played. So
mhm.
no matter if you're on the field or off, you can do so much for a team no matter where you are. So
I love
like you
that.
said, it's a great message to have for these young girls that are maybe in their club teams. Maybe they don't feel they get enough playing time, but there's so many more things you can do. And do you think that a lot of those coaches, uh, Karlee, do they look at a lot of that as well whenever you're at practice? What kind of spirit you bring to the rest
Mm.
of your teammates?
Yes, definitely. Like, I mean, having a good attitude is like one of the best things like that a coach looks for. I would say probably
Mhm.
like on any level, right? Like even if someone's listening and they're maybe moving club teams and they're trying to find a new club
Mhm.
coach, like a good attitude and being a good teammate really will get you like anywhere. And
Hmm.
especially like whatever level you want to go like collegiate wise too, like it's it's really the thing of like if you're a good teammate, like nobody can like say anything about like you're
Right.
Yeah.
hyping people up, you're bringing the team up with you. And that's like the main thing is like if you have good dugout chemistry like what we say,
Mhm.
then like your team really like is
They
unstoppable
got your
like at
back,
that
and they
point.
got your back too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool. I love that. And it's so funny that you say that because now I just look over the seasons. This is in
Yeah.
softball, one season feels like 15 years. You know how it is, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
man, we played a few thousand games, and it's like you're right. The girls will remember being cheered on by their teammates more than they remember a hit they got, or maybe like an out,
Yep.
or like
Yes.
a, it's funny that you say that. So man, it's just you're connecting the dots. You're very wise, Karlee, wise beyond your years. I can
Thank
already
you.
tell. So
Thank you.
I think there's some Coach Karlee in the future, what it sounds
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, there you go.
So speaking of that, Coach Karlee, I'm going to go ahead and phrase that.
There
Um,
we go. Okay.
I got one bonus question before we go into rapid. After
Yes.
way into the future, after Iowa State, are you thinking of like with Athletes Unlimited? We got to work with them this year when they came through.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about that down the road? Maybe declaring at some point or
Yeah, so one of the things that I think the Unlimited season it would be so cool to play in.
nice?
And then also like the Olympic team. So I tried
Mm.
out for the U18. So they have like the USA organization just came out a couple years ago with their high performance program type of thing that they had going on. And basically it was like national wide you could try out for these I think it went all the way I think it went U12 all the way to U18.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I know 2 years ago, the U16 team went to, like, Japan and played in, like, the World Cup there. I don't know if you
That's
guys saw
awesome.
anything about that.
Wow.
But then our U18 team, I made it as an alternate, and so our U18 team played in the World Cup. I'm pretty sure it was in Oklahoma City this year, and
Mm.
then they made it to the next round, so they were playing again. But, when I went to that tryout, I went with one of my friends, to Vero Beach. Actually, like, a year ago today, we were there, for that tryout, and I was like, I would love to play for the Olympic team at some point. And so I think like there are there's more opportunities now in softball than there were like 10 years ago, which is
Mhm.
awesome. Like I'm so excited to see that it's on the uprise. And so like being able to use those opportunities and like continue playing, I don't see myself as of right now like stopping after college. I would love
Love
to
it.
continue playing after
Mm.
college.
Love
So,
it.
Awesome.
Let's go. That
Nice.
just we
yes.
love to hear that. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to hear. So yes, yes, yes. So on that, so y'all listening out there, let's go ahead and get it on. I personally had a chance to work a lot with the yellow team when they came through. Yellow team, if you're listening, let's get Karlee on the AU yellow team.
There we
Just
go. There
saying.
we go.
There we go.
Tori, hit me up. I got you.
I
So
love
I'm
it.
gonna transition to this segment. I promise you, in all the media and all the questions you've had in your life, I guarantee you haven't had a segment like this. Okay.
Okay.
So we keep it PG, but we're about to get weird. I love it. So we're going to
Okay.
get weird for a second. This is known as rapid fire. It's a segment that we've done, Dane, for 2 years now. Would you say? Is that right?
Yeah.
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 So here's the premise of this, Karlee. Me and Dane, we bet on what we think you're going to say. So here's the questions. These
Oh
are
my
five.
gosh.
It's really cool. So you
Okay.
can't go wrong. It's kind of almost like a Family Feud thing where you feel like you pick the answer and me and Dane will tell you if we got it right on what we think you're going to say. It's pretty cool. Okay.
Oh, I'm getting nervous. I'm like
Yeah.
competitive. I feel like I'm like, oh, okay.
The
I'm
winner
ready.
gets lunch provided by the loser. No, in this segment, imagine reality doesn't exist. You can be in the future, you can be in the past, you can be in a cartoon. Like it's just a personality test. Nothing's off limits for this segment.
Yep.
Okay, you ready?
Okay.
So, okay, first question. So obviously, speaking of the Olympics, they're bringing you along. You're kind of on a circuit, maybe on like a speaking circuit. They say, Karlee, we'd like you to coach at the Olympics this year, a water polo team. Kind of like, it's big right now. So they want you to coach a team. And they say, here's the thing. You can pick your crew, your athletes can come from two groups. You can choose the cast of Young Sheldon or the cast of Big Bang Theory to be your athletes to coach your team for the water polo team. Which crew are you going with?
Oh, 100% Young Sheldon. 100%.
Oh, dang it. I had Big Bang. Dane, who'd you have? Did you have that one, Dane?
I'd Big Bang as well.
Did you really?
What?
Okay,
Guys.
got you.
Well, I guess on second thought, I don't think any of them would really swim too well.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
the
it.
Olympic team. It's the Olympic team we're talking about here. Come
Dang
on.
it. Okay. 0 for 0. Okay. Well, Dane, I have a chance to maybe beat you then today. So going like this. So Karlee, question 2. So you do make it to the Women's College World Series this year, and this is interesting. You decide for whatever reason there's no softballs left on the planet. All softballs have been depleted. And they say, Karlee, quick, we need to use 1, 2 things to play the game. We can't not play the game. And in your car, you've got an old tennis ball and you've got an old dried up grapefruit. So you have to go run and grab one. Are you going to grab a tennis ball to play the game with, or an old dried up grapefruit to play your first game with? Which one are you going with?
So I'm gonna say tennis ball, because the grapefruit would just like break.
Oh, dang, Dan, I got that one wrong too. I really did, because I was thinking
Thing.
like fossilized. You know what I mean?
See, okay, because that's kind of the tennis ball's small, so that's not really gonna. I don't like any of the options. Let's just play. I have extra softballs. We'll be okay. Like, don't worry.
You went with tennis though. You did tennis. Dane, what do you have on that?
Tennis ball. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a tennis ball, because once you hit that thing,
There we
it's
go.
gone. It's gone.
Yes.
Okay. Got you. Okay. So next one. This is something you'll be very familiar with. A lot of youth groups love this time frame. So me and one of my daughters got a chance to meet Lecrae this past year. We got to go see him, and then church clap and all that. So check this out. This is a tough one. As you're walking out at the Women's College World Series, both of these artists say, Karlee, we'd like to just basically be your hype person and follow you around and like sing for you, right? So you can either have, I love them both. You can have Lecrae follow behind you doing church clap, or you can have Tubby Mac follow behind you singing everywhere you go. Lecrae, Tubby Mac, which way you going?
Oh, Lecrae.
Okay, I got that one. I finally got that one right. Dane, how about you?
I like Lecrae.
Got it.
I went with Toby Mac on that one. I just took a shot there.
1 for 1. Okay,
I'm a Lecrae fan for sure. Like, I like
awesome.
A lot of his music. Yeah.
He's very tall too. When I met him, I was like, "Hey man, you're like really tall." So yeah, how you doing up there? It's cool.
Yeah.
So we're walking around downtown. He was like, "I love the shoe game." My daughter was wearing some Jordans. He's like, "Let me get those in a size 7." It's just funny. So, next question. So back to like the ESPN random weird stuff. So they're asking you to be a commentator at the first ever ESPN hacky sack tournament. There's a hacky sack tournament. Pretty cool. It's big time. Now your color commentator co-host, you get to pick your co-host. You have 2 choices. Wendy, you know her from the Goldbergs, Wendy, Beverly Goldberg, or you can choose Meredith from Grey's Anatomy. Wendy or Meredith to be your co-host for the hacky sack tournament on ESPN. Which way are you going?
I'm gonna have to go Meredith, because I had a big Grey's Anatomy time in middle school, so we're just gonna have to stick with that one. Yeah.
Dane, what'd you have on that one?
Oh yeah, I had Meredith.
Okay.
I think that was the last show I actually watched series, and I watched the first series of it. That was it.
That's funny.
Got you. Last one. So this, I know you're much younger than us, but let's see this is a musical kind of knowledge question for you. Let's see how you do with this. So you're going to the Women's College World Series. You make it to the championship. You win your first World Series. We're just going to call it right now. We're going to declare it. Okay. And in your press conference, when it's over, they ask you interview questions like they always do, but you can only respond to every question that they ask you using lyrics from Nirvana or using lyrics from Third Eye Blind. You can only speak with lyrics. Nirvana, Third Eye Blind. Which one are you going with?
Probably Third Eye Blind. I like.
Oh my gosh, Dan, I got that one wrong too, Dan. I really did. I had Nirvana because all the kids are walking around wearing Nirvana shirts now. It's like a thing.
Oh my gosh, no, half of them don't even know what Nirvana is.
Right. I love it. Dan, what'd you have on that one, man?
I had Third Eye Blind.
Dude. Fine. So Dane's been on a tear lately, Karlee. He beat me again. Dan, that's like
I'm making a comeback. I think I'm only about 100 behind now. So I'm closing in on you.
Yeah,
closing in on you, pal.
Well, thank you, Karlee. That you won. Thank you, Dane. Karlee, that's a little segment. Hopefully, that's something different, which you've had in the past. That's rapid fire. Thanks for being a good sport.
I love it.
Awesome. Dan, I'll get back to you for the last one. So,
and this last segment, Karlee, we call it open mic. We open the floor to our guests to maybe talk to some of those young players, or even if they're athletes or musicians or whatever field they choose to go into. We always ask our guests to maybe leave them some words of wisdom, or ask if you've followed like a philosophy or a mantra that's carried you through some adversities or tougher times that you faced along your path. Is there something that you can maybe leave to our younger girls and boys that are looking to be the best they can be to, help them along their path?
Yes, for sure. I'm going to actually pull up one of my favorite Bible verses here. So this one, I kind of made it, I guess my mantra or whatever for like the year. So it's First Corinthians 15:58. I actually wrote it on my my visor. Actually, high school season last year, I had it on my visor and everything. But it is, therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. So that
Mm,
was kind of like, that was a good one that I was like, it obviously goes every way, like, right? Like, no matter what you're doing, but for
Yeah.
softball aspect, it was kind of like what I was talking about earlier, like doing the work, like having the work ethic, doing the work, but then like trusting that God has the rest of it and that I can't
Mm,
be in control of everything. And kind of just like remembering to put God in the center of my life and not necessarily like on the kind of outside, like if you have like a circle, we talked about this at church like last week. So if any of my church guys are in here, they know what I'm talking about. But a lot of times we think like, okay, we're in the center, God is like right next to us, and then we have like, I don't know, softball and school and work and whatever. But remembering that like
yeah.
it's it's not about you. Like, it is about the Lord. Like,
mm,
everything is about him, and
I
it
love that.
sounds kinda weird, but it's like the other thing of, like, everything we do is to give back to him. So no matter what that is, if you're a musician and you're playing music to glorify God, if you're
Mhm.
playing a sport to bring others closer, working, if you're doing a podcast to bring others closer to God, like, everything you're doing is to give back to the Lord, and the work that you do isn't in vain if you're doing it for him. So that's like kind of
Yeah.
one of the main things that I really was focusing on this past kind of, I guess, this like calendar year. I kind of,
Mm.
that's been my verse for about a year now, but I think it's really a good thing to remember too, and just to give it all to God. And I've been saying that, but I hope maybe it's
It's
pushing
true.
it into
Yeah.
people's head.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you say that, I keep thinking of I must decrease so he can increase. Like when
Yes.
your whole mindset, and Dane, isn't it refreshing? We say this all the time. People like you, the next generation of leadership is in good
Yeah.
hands because
Yeah.
in a world where everyone's like craving and chasing the spotlight, you're saying, "Hey, look, let me use my talents to just shine the light on him," and that's so cool. I just love
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
about you. It's like this
Oh,
makes us
thank you.
think you're even cooler, you know? So
Yeah. Oh
No,
yeah.
and yeah, no, and I think it's just, especially in like college athletics, like we look at all these people, and like with the NIL deals now and all of this stuff going on, it's a lot about like me, what can I get
Yeah.
out of this program? What can I get out of this deal? What can I get out of like all
mhm.
of this? That's why there's a lot of transfers going on and a lot of
Mhm.
just chaos, really. And so I think especially just remembering that it's not what I can get out of it, but what can I give? Like, what
Mm,
can I
Yeah.
give out of it? And so that's just like the main like piece of wisdom that I would
I
give
love
off
that.
of that. But
There you
yeah.
go.
Wise, well beyond your years, Karlee.
Yeah.
So like you add
Yeah.
Absolutely.
like 7 years per age, like so you're basically like wisdom of 100-year-old. It's cool.
Yeah. There
So
you go.
well, Karlee, I want to say, I mean this. Thank you, local hero.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your love for the sport, obviously for God first, and then just being a local
Yeah.
hero. Let it be known this has got to be the first of many as you
Yeah.
come through. You know,
Absolutely.
we'd love to catch up with
Yes.
you. Love to
Yeah.
have you come by, maybe even kind of speak to our girls sometime.
Oh yeah.
We'll be watching you. We have for a long time, huge fan. So
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate to cut it short, Carl. We have a couple more tonight, but I want to say thank you with all my heart for
Yeah.
doing this.
Absolutely.
We'll be watching you all season. Let's make this the
Yes.
first of many, and don't be a stranger if you will. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Well,
Absolutely.
thank you guys so much. It was so great to talk to you
Yeah.
guys.
thank you,
Thank
my
you
friend.
very
Much
much.
love. Much love. Thank you for all. Appreciate you. We'll be in
Yes.
touch. So Dane,
Yes.
I'm telling you, Dan, what do you think? Wasn't she everything I said and more? Isn't she awesome?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I've talked to a lot of the people that, around our circle in softball, and I told them that we were bringing her on, and they were just, can't wait for the episode to come out. And they said, she's something special whenever you guys talk to her. So she lived up to all the hype that I've heard. So and what a representative from our own area to go out
Yeah.
there and spread this message. So thank you to her, and I hope she nothing but the best for her, and glorifying God all the way.
Dude, she's in the biggest softball program in the softball conference, Big 12. It's huge, right? It's
Yep.
huge, right? That and SEC, they're both great. Powerhouse player, great catcher, hometown hero, uh, like leading the way, like glorifying God, female athlete, and
Yep.
leadership. Like it's just, dude, I'm running out of hands to like think of all the cool
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah. Full
So
package.
yeah, I just can't wait to see how the influence keeps spreading. It's like the Cat Ostermans of the past, right? And the Jenny Finches.
Yep.
Now it's like the Karlee Fords, right? And then
Yep.
the Coleman's like then now it's expanding. I mean, she's part of
Yeah.
that repertoire. So man, that was a good one, Dane. So
I love that.
I can't say enough. Thank yous to Karlee and the camp, of course. Many more to come. that's going to be one of the bucket list ones. We'll have to bring her back sometime in season 5 or 6, so
Yep, absolutely.
guys, we have one more tonight we're going to get to pretty soon after this. Take a quick reset. As always, don't forget that we love you. And Dane,
thank you for listening.